You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast, brought to you by focus-biz.com.
Founders, CEOs, and high-level executives, the art of delegation. It's a challenge, but there is an advantage to it. How do we stay in our genius zone and still grow our business? With us today is Gwendolyn Young. She is the founder and CEO of Your Virtual Admin Expert, and also the podcast host of Leading Behind the Scene. So excited to have her here today and share some thoughts with us. Gwendolyn, how are you today?
Chris, I am fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So excited to chat more. We're always curious about your entrepreneurial journey. What were you doing before? Give us a brief history and your background, and how did that lead you into what you're doing today?
Yes, happy to. So, believe it or not, I had absolutely no desire to become an entrepreneur. People that meet me today, they don't believe that, but I started in corporate America, was working in corporate for a very large healthcare firm for about 15 plus years or so. And then in 2013, I got diagnosed with systemic lupus. And so I had to come off of that amazing corporate job that I absolutely love. And I had to really just focus on my health and recovery. And during that process, I realized working a traditional job was no longer really going to work for me and the way that I needed to work. Right. So I didn't want to be having to ask permission to see the specialist or explain why I was feeling fatigued in the day or why I needed to have a nap in the middle of the day. And I just knew that traditional work environment was not going to work. And so that's literally how the business was born. And then fast forward 10 years later, we've grown into a agency with a small team that supports us and supporting clients across the globe. And it's wonderful.
That's fantastic. What an incredible journey to share with us. We appreciate it. It's funny how we just kind of fall into these things sometimes. Opportunities
Yes.
present themselves, or certain circumstances or situations kind of cause us to change paths or directions. And it's interesting to see where that takes us. But you just kind of like took the bull by the horns and said, I'm going to run with it. This is
Yes.
what I want and
Yes.
need. You fell into it, but now you're just really owning it. Tell me more about the clients that you typically work with. Are these more like medium, large businesses? Are they in particular industries, or are they just having certain symptoms or problems that you come in to help save the day?
Yes, so it's a combination of the 2. We work with the visionary CEOs and the like C-suite executives of those companies as well, supporting them with all of their administrative functions. We don't really have a specific industry. They more so fall into the corporate structure, but we don't have a specific industry that we're in because of the work that we do. It crosses the bound of the industry, right? So we work with accountants, we've got lawyers, we've got some nonprofits, we've got some foundations that we work with as well. And so we love working with them and helping them get their time back. That's really what it is, helping them to streamline their system and helping them to get their time back by taking that administrative burden off of them. And that is the work that we love. And so these are people who are leading and managing multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses, and they're busy all the time. And so the symptoms that they're having is a lot of that overwhelm. They are overbooking themselves with appointments because they are not really paying attention to the schedule, or they're saying yes to so many things without realizing what they've already said yes to. That may sound familiar for some of your entrepreneurs and CEOs out there. They don't really have the time to do a lot of the administrative or research things that need to get done, right? You need to bill your clients, you need to follow the invoices, but you as a CEO don't necessarily need to do that. But if it's not getting done, then you have a cash flow problem, right? And so those are the things that we support with.
That's fantastic. And I know for all the CEOs and entrepreneurs, solopreneurs out there, one of the most valuable resources to them is their own time. You can't
Yes.
get it back and you can't make more of it. So you have to do with whatever you have with you at the moment. And building
Yes.
that team, that is a big leap to try, one, to recognize we need the support, and two, to trust to be able to delegate those tasks to others. With all those struggles and challenges that arise, are these solopreneurs missing out on something by not reclaiming their own time? Just, I need help, but they don't know what to do. They're drowning. How do you approach them? How do you help?
Definitely. They are definitely missing out on a lot of opportunities. They're missing out on being visible. They're missing out on supporting their clients because they are trying to do all of the things themselves. And so, yes, they need to find some space to delegate, right? Even if it's just a couple of hours a week. I think that's the thing that a lot of solopreneurs misunderstand. They think that, oh my gosh, I can't afford to have an assistant or I can't afford to get support in an area in my business. But I say that it's costing you regardless, right? It's just a matter of which way do you want to pay. Because if you are constantly doing all of the things that are not generating revenue, that are not making you visible, that are not having you be out and about networking and gaining clients, then you're still paying a price, right? And it's probably much larger than paying somebody $25 or $30 an hour to support you administratively. So either way, you're going to pay. The question is just which way is going to cost you more?
Absolutely. A lot of the entrepreneurs out there forget to realize what they value their own time to be worth, and then what it would cost for an admin team or a service to come in and provide that to them. Unfortunately, like you said, it's a lot of missed opportunity and they're leaving money on the table. So it's more important for
Yes.
them to take that next step there. Now, when it comes to the admin team, let's say there's like a new client or new customer who comes in. How do you approach that setup and the walkthrough on the onboarding? This is what we need to identify. This is how we're going to tackle it. And this is when you can expect to see some results.
Oh, I love this question. So I absolutely love onboarding clients into our business. So we have a whole process for this. And so, first thing when they come in, we have a CRM that we use that manages all of the invoicing, the paperwork, the contract. And so, it's a very seamless process. Once we finish that discovery call with them, which is really where we start digging into what the issues are, because in that call, before you even become a client, we're asking you, where are the things that are causing you frustration? Where are the things that are breaking down in your business? What is the thing that if you could get some relief within the next 30, 60 days, you would just have this sigh of relief? We're already asking those questions. So now when you start to onboard, you're going to get that proposal right. The quote, the contract, the first invoice, it all comes together. You literally can click, 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 and you're done. And soon as you do that, then you're going to be routed to our scheduler. You're going to make your appointment for your very first call right there. When you do that, you're getting an automatic reminder that's going to remind you when to show up. And then when we get on that call, we're going to actually dig into what are your 30, 60, 90-day goals, because we want to know how are we going to help you get a win and a return on your investment within the first 90 days of working together, right? Whether this looks like giving you 5 hours, 10 hours back in your time because we've taken the scheduling off. It's making sure that you're recouping your cash flow because now people following up on your invoices. And so your invoices are getting paid much sooner. Maybe you needed to send out some pitches for speaking engagements. And so you were able to get 30 speaking engagements out, which then resulted in you with 2 engagements that you actually confirmed, right? So you're going to get to lead us in what your goals are. We want to understand what your vision is and how we come alongside you to help. And that's the beauty of it, right? It's more than just being a service provider to you. We really come in and be a partner with you because we want to understand what are your goals? What are your core values? And how do we come alongside you to help you accomplish that?
I love that. From that onboarding process, it screams that you're authentic and you're genuine. You really care about their problems. And
Yes.
you're going to take them through the entire experience to ensure that they're having a positive experience and a review and referral worthy service and experience with
Yes.
them. Why is that onboarding process so important into that initial relationship? It's kind of setting the stage into how you're going to be working together, isn't it?
Yes, it sets the stage for how you're going to be working together. And it also sets the tone for how you can expect the relationship to be, right? Some people think that once you get a person to sign the contract, then your onboarding is complete. Absolutely not. They're still just getting to know your organization. So, how you show up in these first moments speaks volumes of how you're going to serve them throughout this contract period, right? That's what's important. And so, their experience, I'm always thinking if I were on the other side of that, one, what would make me say yes to working with these people? And two, what would keep me working with them? And three, what would make it easy? I don't want to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to have an experience with somebody. It should be seamless. And so that's what we're thinking about when we're creating these processes around, because we already know they're busy. Right? We already know that you're a busy executive. If we have to make you jump through 5 or 10 more hoops, you're probably not going to want to do it.
Absolutely. With that being said, that the friction that you mentioned within the buyer's journey and the experience that someone goes through when they are using your product or service, that is really setting the tone for how likely they are to love your product or service. That friction, it creates that resistance. And it's something that it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't have time before and now I don't have time for this. Like, I appreciate that you're thorough, but I just can't do it. Meet me halfway. What can we do? And you love looking at that 30,000 foot view, the process behind it and
Yeah.
how the end consumer actually experiences it.
Yes, yes. And I think, Chris, that's where that healthcare background really comes into play, right? I've always thought about like, I went to school for business, I went to school for computers. How did I end up in healthcare? But it was actually the perfect thing because that's where it brought it all together because I realized, oh my gosh, I'm managing this healthcare center. And if we don't get this right, it's the patient that suffers, right? If the front desk doesn't register the person right, medical records doesn't pull the right chart. If medical records doesn't pull the right chart, the physician gets it wrong or he doesn't have all of the information because there's a report missing, there's a test missing, right? If the physician codes wrong, then the patient gets a bill for something that they didn't get seen for or that didn't happen in the visit. And so I was like, we got to get this right.
Absolutely. I love that you shared your healthcare and the billing experience and background because that directly affects the end consumer, that patient. And that's what you were trying to achieve with my healthcare and patient experience and billing and some home care and hospice experience as well. You see how the follow through, the customer experience, all of that plays a role into the stress factors or the happiness or everything that they experience comes down to that. So the fact that you can bring that unique perspective to these other businesses, I'm sure that they are incredibly happy about it.
Yes, we hear it all the time. I think the one that most resonates with me that just stays with me is we had a client, he's like, "You make me be a better father and husband." And that was just like, "Whoa, what?" Like,
Wow.
"What do you mean?" And so giving him that time back, he's able to actually spend more time with his family, spend more time with his children, be more present because he's not so caught up in the day-to-day minutia of everything, and that's the beauty of this work.
I love that. And for a lot of the solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and founders out there, we're kind of stuck in this weird zone where it's just us, the solopreneur. And then once you get into that next step where you can build the team, then that should be taking you out of your day to day, big picture, big vision. What is the strategy? What does that look like? And then empower your team in order to execute that for you. It's a struggle they
Yes,
have if they're constantly like filing through paperwork or did I follow up with this person? That's where the beauty of what you provide comes to light and they're like, wow, I can get out of my head finally and focus on moving forward instead of just
yes,
being stuck in the present.
yes, absolutely. It's having more of that time to be focused on those highest impact activities, right? So critical.
Absolutely. When it comes to that end user, that consumer experience, do you typically look at the first stages of their journey, like the lead prospect area? Is it more like the lead nurturing, or is it that you just stress the importance of the onboarding and keeping them happy, or is it like the post client sort of buyer's journey?
It's all together, right? Like for me, the buyer's journey is from start to finish. It's the moment that they make contact with you. So, what did it feel like for them to join your email list or when they visited your website? What happened? When they completed your lead form, did they get a response to that? So, it's all connected. You got to look at that entire journey from how did I show up? And what happened when I showed up? How did they receive me? What was their experience? And then once they came into my ecosystem, what was the experience that they had? And then even on the way out of it, what does that look like? Because I don't want them to feel a certain way as if like, oh, okay, we got them in, we got the sale, and now it's over. And it's just like they don't care about me. That's not a good experience either. So that end part has to make sense as well. Are you checking in with them after the contract ends or after the service ends? Do you send them anything to say, "Hey, just thinking about you," or "I saw this and I wanted to send it to you." That's still part of the experience because you never know when they may need to come back around for the service again.
And especially within the B2B service industry, those relationships take a long time to nurture. Not everyone is in that situation where they are ready to buy or even
Yes.
problem or solution aware. That relationship takes time. So just to focus on that beginning or the middle or the end, it doesn't serve the overall reaching purpose of better serving the client and building that relationship. So I think it's important, just like you said, you have to look at the entire picture of what their experience is, because that is a direct reflection of you, your business, and how people perceive you. So
Yes.
important. Now, Gwendolyn, I saw on your website you have some blogs and tools and resources available for people. Where can people find more about those tools and resources and get connected with you?
Yes. Expert.com. And on there, we've got information not just about us, but we've got tools for you that you can use. There's a bunch of blogs on there that are related to entrepreneurs and the things that you deal with in your business and going through this journey. There's also some podcast episodes that I've done with others, like Chris. You can have those as well. So there's a ton of information available on the site. And across social media, we are your admin expert everywhere. So you can follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn. We also have a YouTube channel where we've got some content for you as well. So those are all the places you can find us. And I hang out a lot on Facebook. So if you want to be friends, you can shoot me a friend request.
That's wonderful. I'm going to hang out and meet you there on Facebook because I am also on there as well. And for our listeners, we will have the links available down in the show notes and the description so you can get quick and easy access to Gwendolyn here. Now, Gwendolyn, from all your years of experience, what is one thing that you wish you knew sooner that you feel like would have helped you move faster in your journey and could potentially help other CEOs and founders in their journey?
Oh my gosh, find a community, right? Get you a great coach that is in the industry that you're in or doing the thing that you want to do or the thing that you're trying to build and become a part of a community. I wish I had known that earlier. It would have cut my learning curve probably by half, if not more, and probably skyrocketed my income a lot faster than I did myself in the first few years I was doing it alone. Get into a community, so important.
That is some great advice. I think it goes often overlooked by a lot of people when it comes to their marketing strategy. For some reason, just want to give a lot of money to Google or Facebook to put their name or face out
Yes.
there. And unfortunately, they're throwing money away when they should really be focusing on the longer term nurture, making short term sacrifices for long term gain, I think should be the focus for their marketing strategies. What do you think is the biggest channel for marketing for you that has grown your business, that has kind of taken you to that next level? Did a lot of it come from the groups and communities that you mentioned, or is it from the content and the podcast that you're doing?
Yes, it was from the groups and communities that I'm in. So our business has been largely referral based, about 85%. And so building those relationships, being in those communities, showing up and being visible, that has worked wonders for us.
That is fantastic. I know a lot of business owners out here are going to be excited to get into their next networking group and start trying to sell, unfortunately, but they should be focused more on building a natural, genuine relationship and providing value to them. So I think that content strategy that you have kind of helps benefit in both ways when it comes to that
Yes,
group.
absolutely.
That's fantastic. Now, Gwendolyn, I have a question. What is on the docket for 2024? Do you have certain goals or things you were excited about to either start or finish up or accomplish for 2024?
Oh, yes. So right now we are building our team. We are in the midst of negotiating a rather great deal with having a lot of our admins be part of this corporation. So we're becoming the service provider for administrative support for a very large company, which is exciting. So I am working on building the team and training and all of the things. And it's just super exciting because it's expanded my vision in a different way. And now I've got all the things turning in my brain about, okay, who's going to be the next Fortune 500 company I'm going to go after? Like,
That's amazing. So incredible. Congratulations to you to be
thank
working out
you.
such large negotiation deals right now. It's a testament to the work and service that you provide to others that they love it so much. that there's even bigger talks and even more growth in the future. I'm so excited for you, Gwen. Any
Thank
last piece
you.
of wisdom or advice that you want to share with our audience, anyone listening out there?
I would say beat the fear. Just press through the fear. Whatever's happening, if there's a dream that you have that the world can benefit from that adds value, then go for it. Your voice matters, you matter. Like what you want to do matters, and there's somebody that is waiting for you. So just press through the fear. I know it can be terrifying sometimes, but just go for it.
Gwendolyn, I love it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to share these tips and tricks with us and our audience. For those of you who are interested, make sure you get connected with the links available down in the show notes. Gwen, congratulations on all your past success, your current success, and I'm so excited to see everything that's going to happen in the future.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me on.
It was a pleasure, and likewise, thank you, Gwendolyn.